All right, thank you, Dr. Bryant and Dr. Hester. I'm going to get mic'd up here. While that's going on, I'll give you an introduction to our first speaker is Trent Bailey. Trent graduated in August of 2018. He currently is the pulpit minister for the Cedar Grove Church of Christ in Andalusia. He was a billing clerk at Partners Realty right around the time he graduated, and then was a territory manager at Bradford Health Services. And then while he was doing that, was also part-time preaching at the Southview Church of Christ in Alexander City. But decided that he needed to go into preaching full-time, so became the pulpit minister at Cedar Grove in July of last year. He is married to Autumn, who is also a Faulkner graduate. They got married in 2016. They have, I asked all the speakers for their bios, and so he says, we have a handsome 3-year-old son, Thomas, and a beautiful 1-year-old daughter named Adeline. And so, certainly there's a little bit of parental pride there. But Trent here is, he was out of the 3 that are speaking today. I had Trent in class, and so I'm glad to see what he's done and the work that he's going to continue to do.
I'm short, so whenever there's an opportunity for me to get up high, like up here on the stage, I go ahead and take advantage of it. So I'll stand up here if that's okay. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I need all the help I can get. There you go. Yep. Thank you. Initially, I had difficulty selecting my major at Faulkner University because I could not answer the question I had heard all of my life. What do you want to be when you grow up? I had aspirations from entrepreneurship to being in law enforcement, even to be an actor. But I came to the conclusion that regardless of what field I would enter, I would always be a Christian. So why not gain a degree that could not only benefit me for the rest of my life, but could also benefit me for the rest of eternity? My decision to earn a bachelor's degree from the VP Black College of Biblical Studies has been one of the best decisions of my life. However, my education journey was unique. I began my college endeavor in 2009 and graduated in 2018. You've heard of a 5th-year senior, but I was a high achiever. I was a 9th-year senior. Throughout my schooling, I always had a full-time secular job. I worked as a waiter in multiple restaurants, as a clerk for a real estate company, as a marketer in healthcare. But in 2016, I saw a major need in the brotherhood. There was a plethora of small rural churches that were unable to support a full-time preacher, therefore needing a part-time preacher. So while completing my degree in biblical studies, I did just that, working with multiple congregations throughout central Alabama via part-time preaching. After I graduated, I continued the pattern, working a secular job Monday through Friday and preaching on Sundays. But in the summer of 2022, my life changed drastically and for the better. The church I was working with merged with another congregation. As I was searching for a new congregation, I came across Cedar Grove Church of Christ. But they were looking for a traditional full-time minister. They even had a parsonage on the church property. So I met with the elders and tried to persuade them to hire me as a part-time preacher. But I did not persuade them. Instead, they persuaded me that I should be an all-in, all-inclusive pulpit minister. It might have taken me 31 years, but today I could finally answer the question. I want to be a preacher when I grow up. My life will forever be impacted by my degree in biblical studies. But it's not the diploma that's hanging up in my office. It's not the collection of books that I accumulated. It is not the grades that I received regardless of how high or how low they were. My life will forever be impacted because of the influence from the professors. Inside the classroom, each and every professor taught with respectable diligence, contagious passion, and impressive biblical knowledge. Many times when I preach, I try to emulate the lessons, the thinking processes, speaking styles, and golden nugget quotes that I gained from the courses that they taught. However, outside of the classroom is where the employees of the VP Black College of Biblical Studies impacted me the most. Because outside of the classroom, you saw the teachers practice what they taught inside the classroom. I remember Floyd Parker, who invited the Vaughn Park College group to his house every Sunday for lunch at his home. I remember David Hester, who joined me for many Eastern Meadows potlucks. I remember my coworker ecstatic about her new church minister, then finding out, lo and behold, it was one of my professors, Don Myers. I remember being asked on a regular basis if I was Randall Bailey's son. And saying no. But I wish I was. I remember going to a wholesome Christian movie at the movie theater, and there was only one other person in the movie theater, Jimmy G., one of my college professors. I remember on graduation day when I received my diploma in one hand and shook his hand with the other, Scott Gleaves looking in my eye and exclaiming, "Good job, Trent." I remember one of my college professors responding to the invitation song at church. I remember the semester that I was tackling terrible personal demons, and I entered the office of Todd Brenneman to tell them that I was withdrawing. His response was not to rebuke my decision. His response was not merely to give administrative steps. His response was to clasp his hands and say a prayer over me. And it's men and women like that which makes VP Black College of Biblical Studies such a great place. Thank you so much. Yeah, we're brothers. We're brothers in Christ.
Brendan Chan is our next speaker. He served as the minister for the Alexander City Church of Christ since June of 2017. He had been, prior to that, the associate minister for the Austinville Church of Christ in Tabor, Alabama. And then before that, had been at the College Avenue congregation in Enterprise. And has also had internships at Dalreda and Park, so he's been involved in several different congregations. Brendan also served on the board of directors for Exposure Youth Camp and has worked with young people through various other camps and programs all over the South. He graduated from Faulkner with a degree in youth and family ministry and has been married to Jenny, his wife, who's with us today, since 2005. They have 3 daughters, Katie Brooke, Lane, and Abby. And he is currently working on a master's in clinical mental health counseling from Auburn with the hope that he'll finish up next year.
Thank y'all for having me. Trent, I'm going to